Well, hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Renee. How are you all today? I hope everyone's doing good. We haven't done a chit chat in a little while. And I know the last couple weekends we haven't been able to do a live stream either. The last couple times we had a house full of grandkids, which is it's just impossible to try and do a live stream with grandkids because they don't realize, most of the time my grandkids know that I can stop the camera and, or edit something out that they need done or whatever. They know I can stop. But with a live stream, they just don't understand. You can't just stop and you can't edit that out. So we don't do it when there's kids here. And then this last weekend, Mr. Wayna, I think he had the flu bug. He was sick. Oh boy. That was something. Now my daughter's house, they're on their second round of the stomach flu. And I said, man, I don't know. It must be going around at school and the little girls are bringing it home. I don't know, but it's the second time it's gone through there. And thank you, Jesus. I have not gotten sick at all this year so far. But anyway, today was one of those days. Now, friends, have you ever had a day where you've been so busy all day long, busy doing all kinds of stuff, but get nothing accomplished? And I mean nothing. I didn't get anything accomplished, and yet I was busy all day long, John and I both. So tomorrow, we're going to be out in the greenhouse. Well, I'm going to be out in the greenhouse because we have to put our last 3 windows in the house, and then we got our wood on order for our siding. We changed our minds again. Yes, we did. We were going to do vinyl siding, and my husband said, I just like the wood. He says, I know it's higher maintenance, and I know vinyl's final, but I just like the looks of the wood. So we're going to do wood. So we had to go see our Amish friend today, and he's got the wood that we need. He's going to mill it down because he's got a sawmill, of course, but he's got what we need for our siding. So we're excited about that. So hopefully, I told you before that we were going to start the siding this month. Hopefully we'll have it all done because really it's just John and I doing it. We're not hiring it done. We really can't afford to hire it done. We thought about, having a big old cookout and some of our friends come and help us because they would. They would come and help us do anything we needed, but we don't like to bother people, But this time we may need some help with the siding, at least the high spots. We got one of our neighbors is coming tomorrow, and if it rains, we're not gonna do it. I'm gonna be in the greenhouse tomorrow all day regardless. But if it's nice out tomorrow, or at least not raining, they're gonna start the windows. And we've got the living room window, the kitchen window, and the bathroom window, and all our windows are done. So, and then he won't have our wood done for probably a couple weeks yet. So, but at least we'll have it all started in April. We'll have it hopefully completely done by June. Doing it ourselves. Because we still got other things that we have to do. We got the greenhouse to tend to. This next weekend, I've got potatoes to plant. I don't know where you guys are at, but anybody who lives up here in the north, we get our potatoes in on Good Friday. It's the best time to do it. So every year I always plant my potatoes on Good Friday. And I don't have, which I do have my beds ready, but I don't. I have them amended. Last fall I amended them and put all my compost on the top and my chicken manure and stuff. So probably just before I plant them, I'll zip through it with my little electric rototiller and, break everything up and aerate it a little bit. And then I'll plant my potatoes. I'm going to plant them on Saturday probably. Maybe Friday, but most likely Saturday. And then Easter is Sunday. So Oh, I'm going to have to plant the potatoes on Friday because I'm going to be doing charcuterie boards on Saturday for Sundays for our Easter dinner. We're not making a big old dinner. We're just going to do, my daughter fell in love with my charcuterie boards that I did for Valentine. Absolutely fell in love with them. And she said, Mom, why didn't we think of doing this when Grandma was alive? But we could have. But my mother was the type that, oh no, it was ham or turkey, or it was always a big dinner. Well, this really is the first Easter without my mom. And granted, last year she was very, very ill, and we didn't have Easter last year, period. But we're going to do charcuterie boards. So I'm going to do a video on it, and I'll show you how I put it together. It's so fun. It's like, an artist. And I'm not saying I'm an artist, but you know what I'm talking about, with a bare canvas. Whatever you want. Whatever you feel like doing that day, you can make that charcuterie board just gorgeous. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a couple of them. I'll do one for like sandwiches and finger foods. And then I'll do a dessert one for the kids. See my bowl? And Brian, I'm not drinking coffee out of it. It's too much. But I got my coffee in my other bowl. Oh, and it tastes good. I love this big old bowl. In fact, it's very, very heavy, so I don't want to hold it by the handle because I don't want to break that handle off. But I love this big bowl, and let me tell you what, some days I could drink coffee out of it. There's no rhyme nor reason to today's Chit Chat. We're just having a coffee clutch and yakking. I can't wait to get out in the greenhouse. Now, I got some stuff already planted out there. I always plant lettuce early. And my lettuce is already coming up, and it's all sprouted. And some of my cold weather crops have sprouted, like my broccoli and my cauliflower. And I'll show you that tomorrow. They're just itty bitty, but they're coming up. So, which tells me that the heater did okay, and we had enough of a ventilation going through there to where, a little bit of fresh air was coming in, but not enough to cool it down because we've had some very cold nights. So that heater is serving its purpose. And each time I think about, what are their names? Living Tradition Homestead. I think her name is Sarah. I think about that because everybody told me that they had so much trouble when they put a heater in their little seed shed or whatever it is where they start their seeds. I think it was just a very small area, and it may have gotten too hot or dried things out too much and killed their seedlings. That's the only thing I can think of. But my greenhouse is a 10 by 20, and I do have, it's not airtight. So I do have ventilation flowing through there. And it has worked very nice. And plus I got a fan going in there all the time for airflow. So, and my stuff is coming up. So, which tells me that the dirt in there is warm enough, in my trays, because I don't have any heating pads under there, and that I'm keeping them moist enough. And I just water them when they're just seedlings like that. I don't usually take the hose to them because I don't want to, disrupt them. So I got a little 2-gallon sprayer that I just use for water. And I just mist them with that and water them down with that, and it works pretty good. Takes a little more. You could just blow the hose around in there and water everything, but I don't want to disturb anything I don't want to do that until everything is sprouted. But I'm having a ball out there, and I bought more seeds. Like I need more seeds. But when you're a gardener and the seeds are out, I store them. I have them from year to year. They don't expire every year. I mean, these seeds, if I didn't plant these for a couple years, they would still germinate, and they would still do very well. You just have to store them right. In a cool, dry, dark place. And most of the time, I'll stick them down in my root cellar. And that's where I'll store them. Speaking of which, I still have to show you my root cellar. Now, my root cellar isn't like, you know, it's not primed and ready for the apocalypse or nothing like that. It's just basically overflow. Extra stuff like pasta. It's loaded full of rice and beans, and most of it, friends, is my freeze-dried stuff that I store in my root cellar inside of totes. But it's always dark down there. It's the same temperature in that root cellar all year round, and it's dry. My basement doesn't leak ever. But I want to show you these. I got Cosmo. These are mostly flowers. I got zinnias. I love the multicolored, the mixed color zinnias. And the Cosmo. I'm going to try it again. The last couple years, I did Cosmo. I got these beautiful tall, they were like 7-foot tall Cosmo plants. Great big, thick stalks on them, but not one flower. And I don't know what it was. And somebody said, well, you know, it could be the chicken manure that you're using. It could have been too rich in nitrogen. Well, you know what? She's the only one that made any sense, because yeah, I bet that's what it was. So this year I'm gonna do it again, because they sprout just fine. They start out in the greenhouse just fine. So when I plant them, the flower bed up front here and my one over here, you know, this one is by the chicken coop. I am not going to put any chicken manure in there whatsoever. Now I'll put a little bit of composted leaves in there, but I won't put any chicken manure. And we'll see how they do. And I bet they'll do just fine. So I got Cosmo. I got different kinds of zinnias. Oh, I don't want to mention her name. Bless your little heart, the one who sent me the beautiful passion flower. I think they're beautiful. I'm going to show you, because I saw another one. I've never saw these. Seen these? I don't want to talk in proper English. I've never seen passion flowers. And I got another package here somewhere I want to show you real quick. Maybe it's good. Great. Right here. Okay. I'm going to show you these up close. A gal sent me these ones. They're absolutely beautiful. And I found these ones at the hardware. I'm going to hold them back. There we go. Aren't those absolutely beautiful? I have never grown passion flower. It says they're climbers. This one says climbers on it. So I'm going to assume, let me fix my chair. I'm going to assume that this one climbs too. This native to southern Brazil. I need my thick glasses or a magnifying glass. I've got 2 sets of glasses. These ones are for my computer and doing like computer work. And then I got my thick reading glasses. So bear with me. It says this native to southern Brazil is a semi-woody climber with 5 to 9 lobed flowers. A perfect plant for a south or west wall. There's a scrape through it. In a sheltered location. Soak seeds in room temperature water 12 to 24 hours before planting to encourage germination. Now yes, that's a good idea if you're going to direct sow. But I'm going to start these in the greenhouse. So I don't think I'd have to do that. Oh my gosh, days to germinate is 20 to 45. Friends, I don't even know if I could grow these up here. If I started them now, 20 to 45 days. So let's say 45 days. That would be in the middle of May. Oh yeah, I'd be able to grow these up here. Zones 5 through 9. I'm in zone 6. It says bring indoors in the winter for the more experienced gardener. Huh. I'm going to try them. I think they're gorgeous. I just love them. Okay, so what else we got? Thank you for sending me those. They're beautiful and I love them, and thank you so much. I love little good. How I wished I could give everybody goodies in their post office box that give me goodies. But you know what? It's impossible. But I can tell you all thank you so very much, and I appreciate it. And you just make my day. And all the comments I get, the cards, the letters, the comments. We are a wonderful community of people. And I thank you guys for being so good to me. So let's get back to our flowers. I've got morning glories. I love morning glories. You know what? I usually plant morning glories, and I'll plant them with my beans because they're wonderful companions. I got lots of zinnias. I got all these plants at Dollar Tree, or all these seeds at Dollar Tree. Now, it doesn't feel like there's but maybe, maybe 10 seeds in each pack. Some, if that. I've gotten a few of these packs that, I just pick them up real quick, and they've had nothing in them. So they only got a few of them, but they're $4 for $1. So, by the time you pay that $1, you're getting, 20, 30 seeds. So it's well worth it. And this is the American Seed Company. And I've never had bad luck with them. Not like I did the burpee. When I bought those, our Dollar General had, last year, had a big, end cap dedicated to, they were burpee seeds, and from the Burpee Company. And I thought, oh my, I'm going to try those because they seem to be a reputable place. But I'm telling you what, I don't know what it was, but those seeds were junk. I think out of all those packets of seeds, and I spent $70 flipping on those seeds, and I think I might have got 3 plants out of all those seeds. I was never so disappointed in my life. And unfortunately, when you spend that kind of money on seeds and they don't germinate, you don't mess with that no more. It only takes once. That's a lot of money. And I got the Marigold. I got mixed colors. Let's see, these are French Dwarf double mixed colors. I got quite a few of those. I got more zinnias, the different colored ones. And I got the different colored Cosmo. I just love this one too. Those are just darling. I got those. I didn't get those last year, but this year I got them. So I thought I got more. Oh my goodness, I went nuts with the zinnias. I thought I got more marigolds. I got how many packs of zinnias? I love zinnias too. But you know what? My 2 favoriteest plants, flowers, is the lilacs and sunflowers. Those are my 2 favorite. I'm going to freeze dry some lilacs this year and see what happens. I got all kinds of, these are like a pastel colored semi-dwarf. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 8 packages of zinnias. Oh, my daughter's going to go crazy. She loves zinnias too. And then I got some mammoth dill. This didn't come from Dollar Tree. This came from the hardware. And I got this so that, for my dilly vegetable. I'm not going to do pickles. I don't think I'll ever do pickles again because I have no luck with pickles. I've been canning for about 35 years, friends. 36 years? 35? Yeah, I was 20 years old and I'm 56. So, I've been canning for 36 years. And you know what? I have never had a jar of pickles turn out crispy. I'll leave that to Vlasic. I'll buy the pickles. I'm not wasting any more of my time. But I love pickled vegetables. And my pickled vegetables turn out beautiful. Go figure. I don't know what I do wrong, but my pickles always turn out mush. And my pickled vegetables, I can't keep them on the shelf. And I always use the dill. I've already got some fern dill growing, but I wanted the mammoth for the heads. And those are nice. And then I got nasturtiums. No, I got 2 packages of nasturtiums and a package of 4 o'clocks. My daughter loves 4 o'clocks, so I got some of them for her. And I'm going to have to get more nasturtiums. And these look really nice. These were $1.89, and I got quite a few seeds in each pack. And these are the jewel mix, the dwarf jewel mix. I plant nasturtiums, and you've seen my gardens. I plant nasturtiums around a lot of my plants. They are a good companion for your vegetables. Your green beans they thrive with green beans because green beans put out a nitrogen that just makes these go bananas. And in turn, they take care of any pest around your green beans. It's wonderful. They just do, they accommodate each other quite well. So tomorrow these are going to go out in the greenhouse in my container, and I need to order another container for seeds because I'm running out of room in my one. So I just set them in my bowl, my coffee bowl for tonight. And that is celery I got to take back out there, and my passion flowers, and I'm excited to grow those to see how those do. So I'm going to take you into the greenhouse with me tomorrow. We're going to talk beginner gardening. I know a lot of you are probably even more advanced than I am, but you know, I'm going to talk about the seed packets and the seeds, and we're going to do some planting seeds, and we're just going to have a day of starting your garden, you know, indoors. So we're going to do that tomorrow. So that's pretty much going to be dedicated to the beginner gardeners. Plus, I'm going to start I've already started a few of the survival seeds, but I'm going to start more of the survival seeds tomorrow. And yeah, well, we're going to have fun in the garden. And I might even take you over to Pleasanton Valley with me tomorrow, too, before we go into the greenhouse. We're not going to be in the garden. We're going to be in the greenhouse. I'm sorry, I misspoke. But I need to go over to Pleasanton Valley because that's where I get my seed potatoes from, so that I can get ready to plant those I'm going to have to do them on Friday. Anyway, we're getting all the yard cleaned up. I have dispersed most all of my mother's outdoor yard ornaments to friends and family and whatnot, you know. And I got this, it's not cast iron, though she had a cast iron patio set. It was beautiful. I don't know what she ever did with it, but it was just beautiful and I loved it. But she's got it's like a little love seat couch. It's not wicker, it's wire. But it's not cast iron. So it's like a wire outdoor furniture. I need to paint that. She's got it painted purple, and it has, she always used to paint it every year. She'd paint it something different, some different color, and some wild, loud color that just looked radiantly beautiful in her yard. But this year, I think I'm going to paint it a real pretty bright yellow. And so I'm going to have to do that. And then I got to find a place to set it. I even thought about giving it to my daughter for her backyard because, you know, I got so much in my yard already with my flower boxes and stuff. And I do got outdoor furniture set out here. And because we're going to be building raised beds on the west side of the greenhouse, I thought maybe I would set it out there. And then, you know, we can be out there and sit down if you need to. So I am going to keep them, but I am going to paint them a beautiful, a bright yellow. They'll be gorgeous with that green garden. Anyway, you all met my wonderful friend, or my neighbor, Abby. She's the one that I've helped stock her pantry. And, you know, she's gotten a lot of stuff from all our friends. And she is just an absolute sweetheart. She's a school teacher, and I just love her. Her and I have just clicked. She's like another daughter to me. I just think the world of her. And Susie gets jealous. Well, not really, you know, she teases. She says, "You can't have none of my mama's Campbells." That's my mama, she says. But they're close. They get along. They just tease each other. She says, "Well, now, your mom makes me Campbells too," and they go back and forth. I just love it. So anyway, Susie was having a bad day today. I felt so bad for my daughter. Her car, the engine blew in it about a month to a month and a half ago. And oh, it was just devastating for her because she still owed a little money on it, And I told her, I said, you can use my car. I've got a Buick Enclave. And yes, it's older, and it's I think a 2008. But I never buy a brand new car. I refuse to buy a brand new car. I don't want that payment. So I just buy a car, $3,000-$4,000. Take care of it. Of course, I maintain it, but I'll drive it until it don't drive no more, unfixable, and I go get another one. I will not buy a new car ever. I don't want no payment. But my daughter's just the opposite. She wants a new car, that payment she thinks that's the only way that you're going to get a dependable vehicle. I'm sorry, even new cars can break down. They get recalls, recalled. No. Anyway, I said, well, just drive my Enclave because I have no other vehicle. That's it, beside of my mother's car, and I'm just not ready to part with that yet. Though I don't care for the Outback, but that, I don't know. I can't give that up yet. Anyway, and we got her truck. So she's got my Enclave. Well, I think you call it the module in the dash that gives you all your messages and your codes and all the lights and bells and whistles. Well, mine's all jacked up. It shoots off codes and it'll scream at you that, the tires are low, the gas is low, and the gas might have a full tank. And the stabilizer bar, the parking's wrong. It's crazy. And the first time it started blasting me with those messages, I run it down to my Kaleva Auto down here, and he looked at it because it was telling me that my wheel bearings were bad. Okay. He said, Renee, your wheel bearings aren't bad. He said, but the module in your dash is. He said, so we can't fix that. You're going to have to take that to a dealer. And he said, that's pretty pricey. He says, but if it's going to be over $1,000 probably. And he said, so if you don't mind, just ignore the dash and drive your car. He said, because there's nothing wrong with it. It runs absolutely fine. So that's what I've done. Well, I told my daughter that. I said, it flashes that message about the stabilizer bar or whatever the heck it is. I don't know. Anyway, I said, you just ignore it because Dale already looked at it and the module's bad in the dash. Well, today she was on her way home. She called us. She says, I'm on the side of the road. She said, your car's telling me it's over. The engine is hot and the AC is off. I said, well, do you have the AC on? She says, no. I said, well, then the AC's off. I'm not mechanically inclined either. So, but she got all upset. She says, I'm scared to drive it. It says the engine's hot. And I said, okay, drive it just to the gas station, which was about 5 miles from where she was. I said, we'll meet you over there and Papa will check it all out, right? So she started crying. She was all upset. And of course, when your daughter cries, you give her everything in the world that you could give them, I told her, I said, don't cry. If the car goes bad, if there's something that it needs, we'll get it fixed. And if I can't get it fixed, we'll just buy another one. I've had it for 3 years now and it's been just fine. I said, so I've got my money out of it. I said, if it's time for the car to go, it's going to go. I'm not going to worry. We'll get another one. So that calmed her down a little bit. And then her dad come around the corner and said, there's nothing wrong with it, Susie. I think it was just a little low on antifreeze. He says, I filled the antifreeze out. And he says, I took it for a little ride and I think it's okay. He said, but if you want, you can drive it to the house to pick up the Outback, swap cars, and we'll take it into Kaleva Auto and have them go through it for sure. But he told her it'd be fine. It's just the module on it, the dash. Well, he didn't tell her, but he filled it up. He filled it up with gas for her. He filled the tank for her. And that's how my husband is. If somebody's upset, one of our kids are upset, or especially the girls in the family, if they start crying, he melts like a big teddy bear. He'll get them anything just to stop them from crying, and he hugs them and he loves on them. But my husband can't take it when a woman cries. So she got in the car, and when she started up, she seen that he had filled the tank, and she's smiling at him, and she blew him a kiss on the way out. And it's like, just go home. You're okay. The car will be fine. At least I'm not as bad as my mother was. If she got a flat tire, she'd park that car and she'd go buy another one. Because she ain't dealing with no flat tire. I told my mother one day, at least I know where the oil goes, right? And the brake fluid. That's about the extent of my knowledge for cars. And the gas. I'm just not mechanically inclined whatsoever. Well, my mother's worse. And one day we were up in Travers, and her car started flashing brake fluid. Some brake fluid was low. I said, all right. I said, I'll run into the gas station and I'll get the brake fluid. I said, you open it up and get it ready for us. And she says, well, where the heck does that go? Under the hood or in the trunk? And I'm like, oh my God. You can't be that bad. You cannot possibly be that bad. She said, well, if we weren't here, I'd have another car tomorrow because I'm not messing with this. It's junk. She was a hoot. Where does it go? Under the hood or in the trunk? I thought I would die laughing, but my mom was a riot, and I miss her. Anyway, so Susie's okay. The car's okay. She's calmed down, and all is good, but I hate to see somebody that upset. She said, this is just overwhelming. I can't take it. She's trying to get home because she got called out of work because all the babies are sick and with the stomach flu. So, they're spewing out both ends. So she was just trying to get home to get to those babies. And then that happened and she got a little overwhelmed and she kind of lost it. I said, you got to toughen up, Buttercup. Suck it up, Buttercup. You got to be strong about it. You know what? Things happen and you just go with the flow. Sometimes you have no choice. So anyway, that's done. So I'm happy about that. The car's fine. There's no way. My car, I think it was owned by, no, I'm not being racist or anything either. But I think it was owned by Mennonites because from what so many people around here have told me that the Mennonites that are in our area, they don't use a radio. So when they get a car, they take the radio out. How true that is, I don't know. But my car was owned by Mennonites and there's no radio in it. The radio was gone. So, and it has the backup dash or the backup camera and everything. So I've always had a big gaping hole where the radio was. Well, I don't drive my car very much anyway. I might go to Manistee and back and I don't need the radio. It doesn't make any difference to me, Usually it's Tracy and I going and we yak the whole way. So my car's never had a radio. Now, whether that's got anything to do with the dash or not, I have no clue. Again, I am not mechanically inclined whatsoever. But she's been driving that poor car. She's probably going stir crazy because you know how the younger generation is. They got to have music. Some people just have to have music or something kind of noise when they drive. Driving semi, I did. I had to have noise because after you drive for so long, you start getting tired when it's quiet, especially when it gets dark outside. And right at dusk is the worst time. In the morning, just as the sun's starting to come up, and at night when it turns dusk, that's the worst 2 times for me to drive. You're tired and you could just fall asleep. And as long as you have that radio on, you're good to go. So, but anyway, I don't drive it enough to worry about the radio. And I keep seeing my light is reflecting off my aluminum foil. And it looks to me like it's still daylight. Well, it's dark outside. So, we're going to have a busy rest of the week. And I mean busy rest of the week because I got potatoes to plant. I got to get the greenhouse finished planting up. And I mean finished. I got to plant everything within the next week, which is possible. It's not, it's not undoable. And John's got to get the windows in. He's got a friend coming to help him with that, so I don't have to worry about that. And we'll get things done. And we'll get the potatoes planted, and I'll bring you along with me when I plant potatoes. So that, my friends of you, those of you who are my friends out there that are just beginning to garden, or you want to plant potatoes, but you don't quite know how to do it, hang out with me. We'll plant potatoes on Friday. My grandfather used to always tell me, because he always had a garden, except for the year that my dad got a chemistry set and blew a big hole in his garden, and vegetables were all over half the town. Yeah, that was in the early 50s probably. But anyway, my grandpa always had a big garden, and he'd always say, you need to get your potatoes. If you want a good crop, you need to get your potatoes in the weekend of Good Friday, so Easter weekend. And I've always done it. And I'll never forget the time my mother argued with me. Oh, no, you don't plant nothing till June, she said, after the first frost. Well, potatoes are cold hardy, They might get a little bit bitten by frost, but it's nothing ever too major. And she said, no, we're not planting potatoes. And she was adamant until June. And I said, no, you got to get them in April if you want a good crop. Well, of course, Mama gets their way. So we planted the potatoes in June. And I'm not saying we didn't get a good crop. We probably harvested about 200 pounds of potatoes, which is a nice bunch for the family, but we needed more than that. Anyway, the next year come along when we did the garden again the following year. I said, now we did it last year, according to what you wanted. I said, can I please have my way this year and let me plant the potatoes on Good Friday? And she says, absolutely. The year before, we planted a 25-pound bag of seed potatoes. So I did the same thing the next year. I planted the same kind of potatoes, the same amount, the 25-pound bag. And friends, we harvested 800 pounds of potatoes. More than I even expected. We were giving potatoes out the back door. We were giving them away. And my mom's like, holy crap. What are we going to do with all these potatoes? I said, that's the difference from planting from Good Friday to June. And the sweet corn up here needs to go in the first week of May. Frost or not, it needs to go in the first week of May if you want a good sweet corn crop. So there's little things like that. And I'll tell you those. Now, in your area, I'm in zone 6B, right in there. And anybody that's in any other zones beside a 6B, you're going to have to do your own homework on when to start your plants indoors and all that stuff, because I have no clue. All I know is there's probably some people in the south that are already getting their gardens going, and we couldn't do that until June up here. So you'll have to do your homework on yours. Hello, what you doing?
Coming to say goodnight.
You going to bed?
Oh, you know it. Hello, friends.
They can't see you.
Yeah, they can. Hello.
Aw. Okay, good night. I love you.
Love you. Peace be with you, friends.
And what time is it?
9:30.
Oh, it's 9:30. Oh, we've been yakking a little while. And then you come in and give me a kiss. Now I'm all Twitter-pated, and I don't know what the heck I was saying. I think the potatoes. Yes, you'll have to do your own homework with your own area. And sometimes if you just Google the zone you're in, and the planning schedule for the zone you're in, you'll get a big old schedule of what you should plant and when. It tells you what to plant indoors, what to save and direct sow, and when to plant indoors and when to direct sow and all that. I want to plant peas this year too, so I'm going to have to get peas when I get my potatoes, because I usually plant them pretty close to the same time. And I'm also going to plant carrots. I need to get carrots in the ground too. So, and I got all kinds of carrots. I got the rainbow carrots. I got all kinds of carrots. I want to grow lots of carrots this year. People love carrots. I still got quite a few from my last year's crop, but I want to do more. It didn't do too bad this year. I got a little bit. I got through some of the green beans. I still don't think I'm going to have to can green beans this year. So what green beans I do this year, I'm going to freeze dry. And they'll be perfect. So, but my tomatoes, they're almost gone. I had 2 full shelves of tomatoes. The stewed tomatoes and the spaghetti sauce, all my different pasta sauce and stuff. I had those up there, 2 full shelves, and I've only got about a dozen jars left. So, and I did over 90 quarts of those last year because my daughter's got some too. So I have got to do lots and lots of stewed tomatoes and more of my spaghetti sauce, my pasta sauces, and my salsa's gone. So this year I'm going to have to do a lot of salsa too. So it's going to be a big year for canning tomatoes for me this year. And I'll take you all along. Those of you who want to learn how to can, I'll take you every step of the way. And I'll go baby steps for you if you need. So you can get some nice tomato products, home canned. You know what's in them, on your shelf for your family for the winter. Perfect. What a lovely, secure feeling that is. So anyway, I don't think there's too much else going on. That's our busy week. I am just elated at how well that greenhouse held up. In this last storm we had, the real heavy snow, well, of course it didn't affect the greenhouse at all because the greenhouse was being heated. We had the heat on in there, so it was melting it as soon as it was hitting, so that nothing built up on the greenhouse. And I did show you that. There was a little bit up there, but nothing, there was no buildup. It would slide right off there. You remember seeing, was it last week? All that snow, yeah, last weekend or a week ago. What's it? Yeah, on a weekend. It's Monday today, so it was the Saturday before this past Saturday. We had that snowstorm. We got 9 inches of snow. And probably 4 hours. It just laid it to us, I'll tell you. And heavy, wet snow. And it's all gone. There's not a stitch of snow outside. We got a few little snow banks where, the snow's been plowed where it was real high. But with the exception of those, the snow's all gone. And we probably won't get much of anything anymore. Maybe a little bit of light snow, but it won't stick, It was almost 60 degrees here today. It was beautiful outside. It was just gorgeous. Nice t-shirt weather. Most everybody had shorts on, but that's how we are. 55 degrees and you got shorts. It's nice weather. So, yeah, and it's going to be 60s, high 50s to 60s, I think 64, 65 and under for the next week. We're going to have rain next week. They're getting bad storms down south. My heart goes out to you people, and my prayers were with all of you. My camera decided to shut off. Anyway, my prayers were with all you who had to endure all those horrible tornadoes and storms. Deborah, she was the first one I called. My friend Deborah. Deborah, I love you. And I'll tell you what, when I found that out on the news, I didn't know it had happened. I usually don't look at the news until late at night, and it was the next day that I was watching the news I go on Google or Yahoo News, and I saw that where they ripped through Mississippi. And I thought, oh my God, where's my Deb? So I had to call her, make sure she was okay. First thing she says when she answers, I'm still alive. Yeah, thank you. But anyway, my heart went out to all them. But we got storms coming up here, no tornadoes or nothing like that. But we're going to get some very, very warm thunderstorms. And that's why it's 60s. That's why it's 60 degrees. The bad weather down there is blowing all that warmth up here. An awful way to get it. But I guess there was some pretty severe tornadoes. So if there's anybody out there who lost anything or, had any kind of devastation in those tornadoes, I'm praying for you. So we'll get water spouts out on Lake Michigan, and that's really cool to see. Because out Arcadia, which is it's right on Lake Michigan, and we're about 20 miles inland from Lake Michigan. So they've got the Scenic, because Arcadia it's a town, it sits into a valley, and on both sides of that valley, there's Scenic, and you can see the lake just until you can't see anymore. And you can go up there and you can watch water spouts. You watch the big freight liners, the big ships, and and the water spouts. There, I think one time there was about 6 or 8 of them out there, and you could see them, far enough away from you. You don't have to worry about it, because even when they hit the ground or they hit the shore, they can be dangerous. But they were just dancing around out there, and the northern lights. For heaven's sakes, we've had northern lights like you wouldn't believe. Our skies have been green and blue, and it was, a couple weeks ago, they just were dancing in the sky. And I think they could see them as far as Pennsylvania, I want to say. They could see the northern lights. They're gorgeous. Aurora Borealis, and we see them every year. But this year, they were really blue and green. Most of the time, it's like a reflection. It's a whitish color, and you might get a little hint of bluish and greens and stuff. But this year, when we had them a couple weeks ago, and we usually don't see the northern lights until into the summertime, but this past couple weeks, the sky has been like a blue and green and just clearly defined. It's just amazing. They're beautiful. You could just watch them. So I've talked your ears off, friends. And I hope you know what I wanted to mention too, in the bread video, somebody asked me about, they questioned 450 degrees. When I made that seeded rye bread, my recipe calls for you preheat the oven to 450. You put the bread in, and right away, immediately, you shut that oven down to 400. Okay? Because rye flour contains more moisture. So it either has to cook hotter temperature, or it has to cook at a lower temperature for a longer length of time. That's why it cooks for 45 minutes, since most bread cooks for 30 minutes. But you got to make sure that moisture content bakes out of that bread, or you're going to have just a gooey, you're not going to have very good bread. But I use dark rye flour. You can get light rye flour, but I use the dark. It's like the pumpernickel flour, which is a dark rye flour. Anyway, I like using that, and I bake mine, high heat, because I love that crust so dark brown it looks almost burnt. I love it like that. That's how I love my rye bread. That's how I always make my rye bread. And it doesn't burn because the inside isn't dark. It's just that dark, crispy crust. I love it. And that's how you achieve it. Either, at a real high heat. And if you don't like that, then cook it at 350 for a longer period of time, And if it starts getting dark, just throw it over some foil over the top of it, just like you would pie crust. So that's how that is. But I failed to tell you that, I think. I don't remember saying anything about that. But anyway, the next thing I would like to make is it's another rye bread. It's Jewish rye bread. And I love deli style Jewish rye bread. Absolutely love it. And yes, I can make it. No, these recipes, the rye bread and the Jewish rye is not in my cookbook, my newest cookbooks. People have been asking me about that. They're not in there. I've got a little section for bread, but it's not the Jewish rye or the rye bread or the pumpernickel bread or any of that. I am considering doing strictly a bread recipe cookbook. It would just be a very small cookbook, very inexpensive, but I am considering doing one. And I might even do it in a magazine form. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but it's going to be very, very reasonable because it won't be huge. Like, it won't be 130 some pages like my cookbook is now. And thank you for all of you who ordered my newest cookbook. I was just throttled by that. I've sold so many. And I know I gave one to my daughter, and she gets a cookbook. Every one I make, she's got. And she says, Mom, I couldn't put that cookbook down. She says, there's so many neat things in that cookbook. All those DIY foods, she says, I couldn't get past that section. I can make mustard and ketchup. She says, you got everything. You can make everything in there. And the butters, she called me up. She says, my God, I made the spreadable butter, and it's wonderful. And then she got, all excited over the compound, but I got an itch on my foot. Sorry. She got all excited over the compound butters. Because I'm not so big on it, steak. But my husband likes steak, and her family loves steak. And when you put a little dollop of compound butter on that steak after you sear it and put it in the oven, oh, it's just phenomenal. So all those recipes for compound butters are great too, for breads and just all kinds of stuff. So she loved her cookbook. And I thank you guys for supporting me by buying those cookbooks, and I know you'll enjoy them. And again, I'll tell you, if there's anybody out there that can't order them through Blurb, where, because I don't order books. I keep about 3 or 4 of them on hand, but I don't order big, pallets of books to sell and sit on them because I don't have nowhere to store them. I don't have a garage. I have nowhere to store them. So that's the reason why I go through Blurb, because they're printed on demand. When you order it, they're printed and shipped right to you. I don't see that book. I don't ship that book, So that's why I do that. But I do keep about 3 or 4 of them on hand, so that, because some people will say, can I just send you a check and pay for a book that way? Absolutely. And I've done it already a few times now. People have bought books from me that way. So if any of you are wanting to buy a cookbook, but you don't want to buy it through the company, or you can't buy it through the company, just send me an email and we can arrange for you to send me a check, and I'll send you the book, or a money order. Don't matter. Don't ever send cash. Cash can get lost in the mail, and other people will go shopping. So anyway, friends, I'm going to let you go because I have yacked your ear off enough. We had fun talking. My coffee's almost gone. I love this big coffee bowl. This thing is just, I can't get over this, how cute this is. I just love this thing, and I'll keep this thing forever. That, friends, is a bowl of coffee, huh? Could you imagine trying to drink coffee? I thought about using that for a mixing bowl. It's beautiful, but I'm scared that this handle's going to break. So this bowl is going to be admired. I love it. It'd be good for fruit too, and I might put fruit in it and put it on my dining room table where everybody can see it and enjoy it. I love that. You couldn't have given me a better gift. I'm telling you, I love that thing. the mad whacker. My husband is a hoot. I told you, once he got to feel comfortable on camera, I said, once he gets to know you, he don't shut up. He's a riot. And no, there's never a dull moment in our house. He is so much fun. Our whole marriage has been like that. And we've been together, I think, 17 years. I want to say 16 or 17. Let's see. 16 years we've been together since 2000, early 2007. And always, we've had so much fun. We've been best friends. I married my best friend. But there's never a dull moment here. He's a riot. Oh my God, and you get him going. Your guts hurt. You laugh so hard. I laugh so hard my guts just hurt. And he's fun. He is so much fun. I don't even think we've ever fought. Now, we don't argue. We don't get mad. We just have too much fun. But we don't agree on everything either. And that's funny. Because, you always want to try to persuade your partner of your opinion. And it's like, I find myself doing that. I say, well, no, you're never going to convince me otherwise. So we just, we don't agree on everything. And that's fine. You're not supposed to agree on everything. We got minds of our own, Yeah, there's a couple things we don't agree on. We don't see eye to eye on, but we never fight over it. It's just the way it is. We compromise. I usually get my way. Yeah. No, I know. But he'll tell you that. He'll tell you, well, I just tell her, okay, dear, whatever you want, dear. Yeah. Yes, dear. I said, yeah, that's good. That's a good choice of words, isn't it? All right, you guys, you have a wonderful night. I'll see you in the next video. And I think the next video that I've got planned, we're going to do some stone ground wheat bread. That's very easy. It's almost like my Amish white bread, but it's with wheat flour and white flour. But we're going to do some stone ground wheat bread. And I've got to put together some lunches for my daughter. So I'm going to do like freezer, like TV dinners for the freezer for her lunches for work. She asked me if I'd do a few things for her. And she wants some more lunch lady pizza too. She says the kids devoured it. So I'm going to do some Parmesan chicken. And really easy. I'll show you. I'm going to do some for the freezer meal. Or for the freezer, and I'm going to do some for her lunches. So we're going to do that. Chicken Parmesan and whole wheat bread. It'll be good. But tomorrow we'll be in the greenhouse. You all have a good night. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.